Accordingly, to achieve sustainable peace and development, Turkey has developmental and humanitarian aid programs and a leading role in conflict resolution and mediation. At the same time, Turkey is currently the top refugees hosting country, as it is known very well in the world.
Currently, the platforms that we are using daily make use of big data and AI just to find ways to keep people on the social media, to keep people online. This is done by giving people more and more of what triggers them. This phenomena is what causes the creation of the echo chambers, which sinks us deeper into our own negative biases. Right. Because you are surrounded by the things that you are already interested in, because they want to keep you online. However, technology is merely a tool. The current application is just one way of using it. It can very well used in alternative ways. This is actually what we are trying to achieve with at POSI. We are trying to crack the code of keeping people engaged by spreading the positivity.
After 5 years, for us to be together, and my father wasn't hiding from the military service, so for us to just be living between ourselves and for my parents to be present, we moved to Pakistan as refugees. The normal borders were closed, so we had to take a very dangerous route through mountains, valleys and rivers that took us 7 days and 7 nights. And we did that at night time to escape military attacks, although we did come under the attack 3 times and we miraculously survived those attacks. We landed in Peshawar, Pakistan, where we stayed in a refugee camp for 2.5 years, like millions of other Afghans at the time who migrated as well. In the refugee camp, although we were safe from bombs, but the conditions were inhumane, like many other refugee camps that we see across the globe. We, as a family of 8, we started living in a mudroom, which was later upgraded to, as a family of 8, we started living in a tent, which was later upgraded to a mudroom with temperatures rising up to 45 degrees Celsius. Limited access to food and clean water. Most of us suffered from malaria. Again, something that we see in refugee camps actually across the globe. And after about 3 months, I started coughing. I was coughing to the extent that I even brought up blood and I was very weak. I couldn't even walk. And I was diagnosed by a local doctor with having tuberculosis, which is a life-threatening disease. My experience with tuberculosis was something that inspired me to get interested in medicine. I got treated by a very kind doctor who was treating me for more than a year. Every 3 months giving me medicine on one hand, on the other hand was trying to encourage me to not give up on the fight. On my last visit, he gave me a stethoscope and a large medical textbook, and he said, "Son, one day you will become a doctor." I was very enthusiastic about what was going on.
I think it's important to lay the land a little bit. My parents are from 2 completely different worlds. And so when they came together, you know, my dad from Indonesia, my mom from the Netherlands, 2 different cultures from the world. When they came together, they created a world for me and my sister. And when we said, you know, we're going to start Bye Bye Plastic Bags, they looked straight at us and said, okay, what's the first plan of action? And I think that level of being, you know, taken seriously already at a young age is what enabled my sister and I to take ourselves seriously. And so in that light, they were always the first supporters and the first likes on Facebook, you know, or Instagram. And of course, when it got a little bit more intense, like with the food strike, of course, we brought in a lot of different experts and consultants to help that journey through. But our parents have always been our #1 supporter.
The inspiration behind this. Well, first of all, the Palestinian cause has been always on my mind. Also, when I was a child, I have drawings when I was a child. I remember it was Eid after Ramadan, and I don't remember which Eid, but I remember there was a holiday, and right before the holiday, our art teacher at school asked us to draw something that has to do with Eid. So what I did, and I have this picture until today, is I drew little children playing in a garden, and then there's a cloud on the top that had little children, same age, same everything, but they're running away from tanks and they're running for their lives. And I forgot about this actually drawing, but then during the same month, in May 2021, earlier in Ramadan, when the events in Sheikh Jarrah was happening, I was organizing my desk and I found this picture, and it just hit me that, you know what, I was just following my heart back then, using the art I could do to just, express something like that. And maybe I should do something now that I have a platform and I'm using it to create videos, talk about different topics, then I should do the same.
My life changed first. My perspectives of what it meant to be an educator changed first. It was not just about someone going into a classroom to teach a subject or to finish a curriculum or to teach based on a textbook. It's about changing lives. And they changed my life first. So from that moment onwards, I saw that the main idea of teaching and learning is to make it relevant and to make it meaningful. And from that moment onwards, I think there was just no turning back for me. So I did it all. I think the hero of my story, I can just say it right now, it's not about me. It's about children. It's about students. It's about communities like this that has often been marginalized, overlooked. And we go in with the idea that we know what to do instead of just going to communities and listening to them, talking to them and understanding them. So yeah, initially, I wanted to quit. It was not something that I wanted to do, but I think the children, the community, they changed my life.
We should start from ourselves, because if we are not taking steps towards this, we cannot achieve anything. If we are just talking about it everywhere, yes, of course, this is also helpful for raising an awareness, but in order to make it happen, we need to act, and it should be as faster as possible.
Massive overpopulation. It leads to very serious problems. 3 out of 5 children, 3 out of 10 children in Africa can't see their 5th birthday. That mortality rate in itself is heart-wrenching. But using words like heart-wrenching is easy when you're sitting in a studio, all nice and everything. You need to be out there on the field and just experience it and see it yourself. Unhealthy communities, people. Look, we take water with us when we go there, little bottles, and we just keep them in the cars so that they're not baking under the sun. We take them out and just have sips and everything. I was passing my water around to little kids in the villages, and some adults too. I mean, I just want to share my water. You know what they do? They unscrew the bottle, take the cap, put just a tiny bit of water inside that cap, drink that, thank me, and pass the bottle. We all know that much water, just that little water, is not going to do anything. It's not going to quench your thirst. It's not going to meet your hydration requirements, nothing. But that's all they can get.
The first rule, we must teach the families.
Yeah.
We must study with families.
Show them how to sort of deal with the...
God, lots of families says, God, sorry for Russian. God gives like this, and we must live like this. No, you can change your position, lifestyle, or.
My journey has started in YGA, and we all witness how fast technology advances every single day, and we even speak about self-driving cars, drones, and we are even talking about going to the Mars. But as a blind person, when I go out, I still have to rely on my traditional white cane to get around, which is just a plain stick. Mm-hmm. So that's why if you want to change the life of the visually impaired people, we have to encourage them to go out. And WeWalk journey has started on top of those insights. And also, as a team, yes, today we will talk about WeWalk, and as a team, we have been focusing on WeWalk technology for the last almost 4 years. But before WeWalk, as a team, we have implemented various technologies for visually impaired people. That's why we gathered powerful insights from visually impaired community, and we built our solution based on those insights as well as lived experiences.
Sure. So Ramadan Project is a British charity based in London with a mission of bringing communities together to better understand each other. We do this through the annual Ramadan Festival, which is curated and produced annually with a mission of turning strangers into friends, raising awareness around the month of Ramadan, Muslims and Islam in Britain, as well as an opportunity to build bridges between different members of the community, whether that be within the Muslim community itself or also outside of that, so people of other faiths and none, to learn more about the month of Ramadan and why it is the holiest month in the Islamic calendar. And part of the festival, we have the flagship initiative, which is Open Iftar, which invites people of all faiths and none to come together for a free meal during Iftar at some of Britain's most iconic and loved locations and landmarks. And so we've been going now for 10 years. This year we celebrated our 10-year anniversary. And it's been growing from strength to strength. And it's great to see the amazing response. And also, you know, for us, it's a privilege and honor to be hosting over 500,000 people since the inception of this charity.
We cover a seed with a mix of clay, with humus soil, different minerals. Why we do that? We want to protect the seeds from external factors like wind, heat, extreme cold, some things like that. We want to protect them until the seeds germinate in nature. So we do seed balls. We produce these seed balls with women which affected by climate crisis negatively and living in rural areas. So we have been creating a sustainable income source for them.
Actually, I want to address to the young listeners who are listening us right now. We need lots of entrepreneurs right now in Turkey. So please be entrepreneur. Please create your team. Please choose your aim, and please have a eager to solve a problem. The schools is not the all case for life. Yes, schools is a part of the life, but that's not the case. So I really recommend our young listeners, please be entrepreneurs.
Get out there and chase your dreams.
Actually, it is a very important field. You know, we all know how important is the medical first aid, but most of us are not aware of psychological first aid. What is psychological first aid? It is an approach aimed at providing immediate support and assistance to individuals affected by a traumatic event, no matter which traumatic event it is. It could be a natural disaster, accident, or another critical incidents. Most of people need further assistance during or post traumatic event, such as, you know, to be calm, to be aware of their around, to stay there and do not lose their mind, you know, because it's very important. Research show that our psychological understanding of our surrounding is very important about long-lasting effect of traumatic event, you know.
I mean, this digitization, we already talked. I think it can be really beneficial, but it should be fitting what we know from child development.
Right.
And besides that, I mean, teaching profession, how teaching profession is seen in many countries. I think there is something really wrong with that.
Yeah.
I mean, it goes hand in hand with how we approach pedagogy, how we approach learning. We need more child-centric learning. We need more participation of children, because we know children learn by doing, learn by telling. It's not like if a teacher is going to the blackboard and explaining something, it doesn't mean children are learning. And we know this very well, but still, most of the education systems around the world, they still think like if teacher is just telling something on the stage, we think it's learning. It's not. So we really need a change there, and it's curricular change, but it's not only curriculum change. It's also we need a change in teaching profession.
Of course, maybe I can give 2 examples. One is climate change. We will talk more about that with our institution, Carbon Gate, as well. The climate change is getting serious, and every day, every year, every 10 years of time, we saw that how the degrees of our weather are changing. So the ices are melting, and everything just connecting each other, and it affects biodiversity. So the 13th goal, climate change, mainly focusing about that change, how we can just minimize the gap between these problems and the real-time issues. And there are some targets about that, how we can just, let's say, minimize the gap, how we can just help the planet about improving the climate change. So it's getting serious.
My film is about a woman who suffers in a male-dominant society, because we are living in a male-dominant society in Balochistan, in Pakistan. So it's very difficult for a woman to go outside and to work, whose father or whose brother has been killed in an explosion or in target killing or whatever. So it's very, very difficult, very hard for them to get outside to work in male-dominant society. So my film is about that issue, and what inspires me. My community, my people always inspired me. That's why I choose this medium of filmmaking to convey the story of my community to the audience, to the cinema. That's why I'm here.